The world of pistol caliber carbines is a very crowded one. So is there space for the Henry Homesteader? Maybe. Between its all-American construction, old-school aesthetics, and wide magazine compatibility, the Homesteader might just carve out a niche for itself as a solid alternative to polymer pistol caliber carbines. So, let's take a closer look and find out. The Homesteader is a 9mm semi-automatic blowback carbine from Henry Rifles. It feeds from either proprietary single-stack magazines and includes a 5 and 10 rounder in the box, or, depending on the model, a Glock pattern magazine. For the majority of the review, I used Glock mags because the proprietary ones were just too limited to make filming actually interesting. Starting at the muzzle, the Homesteader has a heavy profile, 16.37-inch barrel, threaded to 1/2x28. I ran an Innovative Arms 9mm suppressor on the Henry with great results. Because of the gun's steel and hardwood construction, the added weight of a suppressor really didn't affect the Henry's balance. Now just behind these threads, the Homesteader ships with a fixed front sight post and a fully adjustable rear aperture, both of which are mounted directly to the barrel. Behind the barrel, the Homesteader receiver is made of aluminum and featured a matte black durable finish. The top of the receiver is tapped for a scope with 4 mounting screws and uses the same mount as a second generation big boy carbine in .357 Magnum and .44 Magnum. For the review, I chose a set of 1-inch rings from Tally because I wanted the lowest mount for a magnified optic as possible. I paired these rings with a Meopta ZD 1:4x22 RD scope and found the combination to both look great and function excellently. Behind this, the Homesteader features a reciprocating bolt with a removable ambidextrous charging handle. On most guns, I prefer the charger to be on the left side so I can keep my hands on the firing controls while working the action, but due to the odd location of the Henry Homesteader's magazine release, I ended up actually putting it back on the right side. And speaking of which, the magazine release's location actually depends on which magazine well module the shooter has installed. The default one has the release located at the front of the magazine well just behind the handguard. It's unobtrusive, but also somewhat difficult to use. With the Glock magazine module installed, the release shifts to the left side of the magazine well. This is a good spot if a shooter wants to reload and retain, but it doesn't do you any favors when you're trying to reload quickly. The Homesteader uses a traditional hardwood stock and features a Tang mounted safety similar to those found on Mossberg shotguns. I actually really like the location of this safety as it just feels at home on a gun like the Homesteader, which, truth be told, feels and points like a pump action shotgun. Now finally, at the end of the stock, Henry includes a rubberized butt pad with a Henry logo molded onto it, which is completely unnecessary because the gun has extremely soft recoil. Speaking of which, let's get to performance. For the test, I fired 600 rounds of various ammo through the Homesteader and encountered 0 malfunctions whatsoever. This is noteworthy for 2 big reasons. The first being that I never cleaned the gun, and the second, that I ran it almost exclusively with a suppressor, which dramatically increases the amount of carbon fouling and buildup inside the gun. As far as accuracy goes, I managed to get the Homesteader to produce about 2.5-inch groups at 100 yards when using both the 4X Meopta scope and a Lehman bag jack rest. But I don't really recommend shooting the Henry, at least with any regularity, at that range if you intend to have it as a do-all, be-all gun. Not because it's not capable of making hits at that range, but because if you zero the gun at 100 yards, you'll be shooting several inches high at like 50 and 25 yards, and it will definitely affect your ability to shoot even like a plate rack at 15 and 20 yards. In more subjective terms, the Henry points quickly and has very mild felt recoil, primarily due to its heft. The gun is handsome, it's fun to shoot, especially for new shooters, with its low recoil and affordable ammunition. But with all that said, I still haven't answered my original question. Is there space for the Henry Homesteader in the overcrowded pistol caliber carbine market? Well, I mean, arguably yes. I mean, not everybody wants a tactical gun covered in rails and made of nothing but aluminum and polymer. I mean, personally, I feel like the Henry is a more traditional option to even guns like Ruger's PC9, but it's not one that I personally would take over my MPX SBR. But guess what? That's fine. The Henry Homesteader isn't designed to replace pseudo subguns or 9mm ARs. It's designed to be a plinker or a varmint gun or a farm gun or even a home defense tool. And in any of these roles, it would shine. Though, truth be told, I would very much recommend mounting a light on the gun for a home defense tool, though the thought of drilling into those nice hardwood handguards makes my skin crawl a little bit. Plus, with the proper magazine well installed, the Henry Homesteader makes a perfect companion gun to your favorite 9mm handgun. So what's my verdict? With an MSRP of around $950, the Homesteader is by no means a cheap gun, though the second you pick it up, you know it's not cheap. Not in price and definitely not in feel. It's built like a tank, it feels very, very solid, and it shoots accurately and handles very well. No, it's not a replacement for your Kel-Tec Sub 2000 or your MP5 clone or even your PC9 really, but it's still a very usable gun and the perfect plinker that uses affordable ammunition to the guy that doesn't like tactical weapons. Thanks guys. For AmmoLand TV, I'm Jim Grant. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Lots of rootin' tootin' pointin' shooting, I'll tell you what.